Hello there. You're probably wondering why I look like a depressed emo right now.
Actually, yeah, dude, please tell us.
Cause of this. Let's say I like popping things sometimes.
Alright, that's actually fucking gross. I'm sorry I asked.
And literally yesterday I went to school and people are like, "Did you dye your hair? What the heck?" I had my hair dyed since June. It's just I wear a hat every day, and so nobody really sees my hair.
Is this dude actually gonna get to the point of the video soon? This is so boring.
You know, I take all these months and years to grow out my hair this long, so might as well have it out in a video this one time. 2021.
Alright, nah, I'm stopping right there.
2 to the 1 from the 1 to the 3. I like
Poggers!
It is I, Leafy's here. I'm back, everyone. Nah, just kidding, it's me.
So what you just saw right there was the original version of the video I was supposed to upload like right now. It was essentially a recap of 2021 and everything that happened in it. Literally everything. I went over certain events, all the videos I uploaded, Twitch streams I watch, YouTubers I watch, music I listen to, and there was going to be an Instagram and Twitter segment, but I cut those parts out. So this whole video took a whole hour to record. And of course I lost all of my energy partway through. I at least tried to get a whole storytime segment in the beginning of the video, and yes, I finally thought of a storytime to do, but I'm not even gonna upload it. I don't even feel like picking up the camera and recording it all over again. I literally got Roblox Arsenal gameplay in the background, like come on, we stacked. But yeah, so this is my attempt at remastering that video, but I'm gonna leave so much of it out so I don't have a half-hour long video to upload to waste everyone's time with for the end of the year. Go hang out with your family, fam. It's Christmas. So the things that I am leaving out is everything but music. I'm going to be talking about all of my favorite albums this year. While recording the original version of this video, I realized it's kind of fun talking about my favorite songs in the whole wide world. And besides, I kind of do need an excuse to talk about myself to have you all get educated on me as a person. Because the world revolves around me and you all must know who I am. And we're trying something new again. I am not showing my face this one time and using gameplay in the background. But yeah, let's get started, shall we? So the first album that I want to talk about is Kids Do Drugs by Kill Whitey and London Yellow. I don't know who the frick Kill Whitey is, but I listen to this because London Yellow is on every single song. Who the frick is London Yellow, you may be asking? London Yellow is a funny ninja word. His whole personality trait is that he's black, and he always says the N-word. And that's funny. That is every single one of his songs. And so what if he made a bunch of songs with a white dude? Well, you minus that, and so now he has to talk about cum and poo-poo. So right off the bat, you can tell this is a very funny album, and you should totally listen to it if you want a good laugh for once in your life. My favorite songs are Biddies on My D, I'm in LA, Come Rain, and Addicted to Eating Poop. Next we have Hall of Fame by Polo G. The only song I ever liked on this album was Rap Star, because I remember listening to it before this album was released. I hate this album. Hall of Fame is so doo-doo. In fact, this album was so bad that Polo G fans were humbled. They weren't as toxic as they were, because they realized Polo G is mid. Sure, he's a very talented rapper in the sense that he freestyles all the time, and so that's a very hard thing to do with the amount of quality he has with his freestyles and all that. But that doesn't mean that automatically makes him a GOAT. That just means he's really good at what he does. That doesn't mean he has good producers and the instrumentals are always top notch. Polo G is a horrible artist, and I don't care what you say. He's only good when he's a feature in a song by some pop star, when there's good auto-tune and good instrumentals. Really, I could like Polo G if he had better producers, I guess. I guess I'm just mad at his producers, I don't know.
You should kill yourself now.
Next we have City the Mixtape. This is by Ski Mask the Slump God, the faucet failure himself. I hate this album even more. I don't know why the heck I listened to this. I barely have anything to say about this album and why I hate it. I don't even remember why I hate it, and I don't want to listen to this whole thing to remind myself why I hate it. I just hate it because it's so hard and so gangsta. Not a single white person in the whole world could possibly like this. Next we have Weird! By Youngblood. Now I first discovered Youngblood when I had his song with Machine Gun Kelly in my recommended titled I Think I'm Okay, which was so edgy and it had all the right notes and all of the right epicness that I loved listening to it. It was on one of my OG playlists back on my old Spotify account, which was technically my mom's. That's why I have my new one, because it's actually mine. Let's go. And so that was the first I ever heard of Youngblood. And then KSI released his song Patience, featuring Youngblood and Polo G. And I'm like, bruh. And this whole time I thought Youngblood was black. But no, he's an edgy British white guy. And so when I listened to the whole song, I was immediately addicted to listening to it. It was the best song KSI has ever released. So I looked at Youngblood's Spotify and all of his albums, and I found Cotton Candy. And this was just as amazing, and I was just as addicted to listening to it. So then I clicked on the album it's from. Weird! Exclamation point. And so I started listening to the whole thing, and I found so many songs that I liked. This is definitely a god tier album on my end of 2021. So the order of all my favorite songs from this album is Cotton Candy, Charity, Allah Save Me But Don't Drown Me Out, It's Quiet in Beverly Hills, Parents, Mars, Ice Cream Man, and Acting Like That featuring Machine Gun Kelly. Youngblood can even take the place of my second favorite artist of all time, next to Post Malone being the first because he holds a special place in my heart. Next up is Trip at Night by Trippie Redd. This is another god tier album that came out this year on my end. I never really listened to Trippie Redd before this. I remember listening to Wake Up Call that he did with KSI, but that was about it. I never really listened to him ever since. But this album absolutely made me a true dripping dripper. A drippin' trippy dripper. I don't know what Trippie Redd fans are called, so I'm just calling it that. This is a good example of why famous people should have good music producers on their back when they're recording. A lot of people roasted Trippie Redd for always making his instrumentals sound like Geometry Dash music, but that's what I like about this whole album. So my top 5 favorite songs from this album is Matt Hardy 999 featuring Juice WRLD, Vibes, Molly Hearts, Rich Ma Hecka, and Holy Smokes featuring Lil Uzi. Next up we have We Love You Tekka 2. This album was in fact mid, but at least Lil Tekka is finally releasing some good music. My 2 favorite songs from this album is Seaside featuring Ian Dior and Never Left. Everything else is trash. Next up we have Donda by Kanye West. I'm gonna get bullied off the internet for saying this, but Kanye is actually a horrible artist and I don't know why he's famous. I do not know the Kanye West lore, and so there's some obvious reason of why he's famous, but I don't know why he's famous, and this album was doo-doo. I know this was supposed to contribute to his mom dying or whatever, I think that's what I was told anyway, but that doesn't mean the music is automatically good. And you have to be such a weird person to actually like this. Music is subjective and all, but to be fair, I think I am weird for listening to Youngblood, so I guess we both are a little weird. Not a single song on Donda spoke to me. All of these songs are doo-doo. If I were to say my favorite, then I guess Jail, because for some reason it's been stuck on my head ever since, because of how annoying and scarring it is, because this album is traumatizing. Next we have Certified Lover Boy by Drake. This album was a little better, but very mid. But I also really hate it. Again, not a single song from this album spoke to me. If I were to state my favorite, then Way Too Schmexy with Future and Young Thug. But I've only listened to it once, and at the top of my head, I guess that's one I would probably listen to again, if I listen to this album again. I also think Drake is kinda overrated, and he's way past his prime since 2018. That's just my opinion though. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Is Drake a flop or a cop? Next up we have Montero by Lil Nazex. I was waiting for this album to come out for like 3 weeks or something, I don't know. Lil Nas was on his A game when making this album. And this is another god tier album from this year on my perspective. Lil Nazex is easily my 4th favorite artist of all time. So that leaves us of my list of my favorite songs from this album. Number 1 is of course Industry Baby, then Don't Want It, Tales of Dominica, One of Me featuring Elton John, Lost in the Citadel, That's What I Want, $sign Slime featuring Megan the Mudheckin Stallion. Oh, and I can't forget the original Montero on there. Next we have Goodbye and Good Riddance Anniversary Edition by Juice WRLD. This is of course a deluxe edition of Goodbye and Good Riddance from 2018. And it has 2 new songs on it, oh my gosh. 734 and Lucid Dreams Remix featuring Lil Uzi Vert. But I've never actually listened to the original version of this, and so once I listened through the whole thing, I found some of my favorite songs from this. On top we got 734, Black and White, the Lucid Dreams Remix, Lean With Me, and Wasted. And while we're on the topic of Juice WRLD, I also took the opportunity to listen to Death Race for Love. This album was mid. It is nowhere near as good as Goodbye and Good Riddance. The only 2 songs I like on this is Empty and Robbery. That's all I gotta say. Next we have Sincerely Contrell by NBA Youngboy. I hate this album and I don't know how 6 Pound Too Deep in Your Mom brought me to listen to this. All of these songs are so hardcore gangsta that I am way too white to enjoy any of these. I guess that's what happens when you make music in jail. But that's all I gotta say. Next up we have Punk by Young Thug. This is another god tier album from this year. This is a mixture of all kinds of genres, so there are a lot of songs on here that I really hate and then a lot that I really like. My favorites are Rich Nibba Poopy featuring Juice WRLD, Hate the Game, Living It Up with Post Malone and ASAP Rocky. Love You More with Nate Rez, Gunna, and Jeff Bezos. Basker. What the frig? Bubbly with Drake and Travis Scott. And by the way, Drake's verse was also mid. I hate his verse at the end. And Icy Hot with Doja Cat. I have been converted to be a true slime. As we're getting to the end here, we have Happier Than Ever by Belly Eyelash. There was a period of time this year where I stopped listening to Belly Eyelash's music, but then I randomly looked her up on YouTube, and then I saw the Happier Than Ever music video, and I was immediately blown away. Then I watched Lost Cause, Your Power, and NDA. I have been a fan of Belly Eyelash since 2019, but not as much of a fan that I am now. And she is now officially my 5th favorite artist of all time. There's something about the way she performs her music. Her music speaks to me more than any other person in the world that does exactly what she does. Very, very strange. Also, she's hot. And my lesbian friends think so as well, I think. Did you see that Vogue magazine? Gosh dang. Oh, honey. Better get in that bed and prepare for the night of your life. And finally, we have Fighting Demons by Juice WRLD. This was an album that's been leaked many, many times and hyped up for many, many months, but it was finally released as an anniversary gift regarding Juice WRLD's death. It has now been 2 years since he passed away, and this album very clearly speaks to the youth as a PSA to not do drugs. And I think all this holds a valuable lesson for everyone today, and it's, again, don't do drugs. I am a certified Juice WRLD stan, and so this brings him in my number 3 spot on my favorite artists of all time. You could say he's my favorite artist right now. I've streamed him more than any other artist this whole year. Thus, on my Spotify Wrapped, he is my number 1, along with some familiar faces that I mentioned throughout this video. My favorite songs from this album are Not Enough, Feline with Polo G and Trippie Redd, You Wouldn't Understand, Wandered to LA with Justin Bieber, and Already Dead. Now it's time for my honorable mentions. Here we have Crybaby Deluxe Edition by Melanie Martinez. This album came out in 2015, so who the frick cares about what I have to say about this? This album is big edgy, big nice goth mommy. My favorites from this album are Mrs. Potato Head and Crybaby. And some honorable mentions on this honorable mention is Sippy Cup, Carousel, Dollhouse, Tag You're It, and Playdate. This next one isn't really much of an honorable mention, I just forgot to talk about it. So here we have Slime Language 2 by Young Stoner Life and Young Thug. There is one song on this whole album that I actually like, and it's Diamonds Dancing featuring Travis Scott. This is actually one of my most streamed songs this whole year, and so I was very ashamed that I actually forgot to talk about this. But at the same time, this is the only song I actually liked. Now let's get on to the topic of Post Malone. The last big ol' album that Post Malone released was in 2019 called Hollywood's Bleeding, and this is the whole reason why Post Malone is my favorite artist. And so I'm very ashamed that he's very lazy, and he doesn't care that much about maximizing his wallet, even though he has many, many songs with over 1 billion streams on Spotify, and so he is very, very rich already, but still, as his biggest fan, I'm feeling very self-centered right now. But yeah, I've never really talked about Post Malone this whole video other than saying that he's my favorite artist of all time. So I just want to shed light on what I think about Mostly Crew in one right now. Mostly Crew is doo-doo, and it's very hard, OG kind of style Post Malone rap, you know what I'm saying, and hip-hop, whatever it's called. I was very disappointed by this release. Oh, and you're probably wondering why I'm not mentioning the Only Wanna Be With You cover that he did. It's a cover, okay? He did it for the Pokemon 25 live concert thing. It's not actually his song. Funny story, I was just chilling in the car while my parents were out doing whatever, they just left me in there, and they let the radio keep playing. And as all the songs were going by, I then started hearing some familiar lyrics in a country song. I'm like, dang, where have I heard this before? Oh, what the frick? Did Post Malone make a cover of this random song that's playing from this radio? I am so young, aren't I? Like, I didn't even know that Only Wanna Be With You that he did was like a cover of an older country song. Like, what? But it is a good song. He did put a little bit of spice into it. I'm just very disappointed that the choruses weren't as beat droppy and epic like his old songs were. Anyway, so one right now with The Weeknd. This is the best song he's released since Tommy Lee that he did with Tyler Yahweh. One right now is such a good song to have on repeat. It has loads of energy, and it's really given me a breath of fresh air. And this is a single, not a whole album, so that's why I'm talking about this at the end of the video. But yeah, tell me what you think of this gameplay in the background kind of thing I did here. Sometimes I really think that me staring in a camera and talking is a little awkward, and it probably scares all the children away. It's the camera angle, trust me, I look very schmexy at school. Alright, I'm out here, I'm gonna go hang out with my lesbian friends. Ooh.